Hello, my name is Dr. Richard Head, and I'm going to talk to you today about music copyright disputes on YouTube videos. So, what is copyright? This is a legal protection for someone who has created something, in this case music, so the creator can control how that creation is used. At this point, it is worth pointing out that the music has two distinct creative parts: the composition and the performance. The composition is where the composer imagines a new tune in their head and writes it down using some incomprehensibly complex squiggly lines and symbols. The performance is where a performer manages to interpret the aforementioned squiggly lines and symbols and turns them back into the tune as imagined by the composer, using one or more musical instruments. Now, the composer and performer may be the same person, or they may be different people. Regardless, when you choose a piece of music to go along with your YouTube video, you have to consider both of these. With regards to composers, by far the easiest way to deal with copyright is to use compositions where the copyright has expired. At this point, the composition becomes public domain. Anyone can use it any way they want. In most of the world, copyright expires a number of years after the composer's death. Different countries have different durations, but in many countries the limit is 70 years. This is the case in the UK, EU and US, for example. So a great source of musical compositions is from what Monty Python referred to as decomposing composers. This opens up a whole raft of really great pieces of music, which can be used without any consideration of the copyright of the author. Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, Schubert, Tchaikovsky, Dvorak, Grieg, several members of the Strauss family. The list goes on. But finding copyright-expired performances of these works is much harder, because they are not common, and if you do find one, it will be so old that the technical quality will likely be quite poor. So the solution is to find a performance for which the copyright owner has granted permission. For most practical purposes, there are two options. Option 1 is a paid-for license. You pay a fee for non-exclusive use of the musical performance. There are many websites out there offering this option. If you are looking for a particular piece of music, it is worth searching many of these sites, as the prices can vary considerably. Option 2 is the Creative Commons license. The use of the musical performance is free, but often there are conditions, the most common of which is to include an attribution. One site we have used extensively is museopen.org. It has a huge collection and good search facilities. Note, there is a Creative Commons share-alike license, which means if you include the music in your video, you must then offer your video with the same share-alike license. Only use these if you are happy to do this. The share-alike license is quite common on Wikimedia. So, you've made your video, you've used an old classical piece of music, which is a public domain composition, and you've either paid for a non-exclusive license or you've used a Creative Commons performance. The video is ready to upload to YouTube. And then, YouTube tells you there is a copyright claim on your music. Why? Well, YouTube has some smart-ass algorithms which check for music which sounds like other music. But the thing about classical music is many performers make recordings of the same piece, and they all sound pretty similar. So your Creative Commons performance may sound pretty much the same as the same piece played by a different performer, who is keen, quite rightly, to protect their work. Episode 4 of Hooked Wit's wonderful series Endangered suffered 2 copyright claims. Number 1. The composition In this case, Spring from Vivaldi's Four Seasons was correctly identified. However, the wrong performance was identified. Number 2, a copyright claim of using the melody from. The claimed performance was a non-standard arrangement of Mozart's Piano Concerto No. 21. The recording we were using was a standard performance. So, what to do? First, be absolutely sure about the source of the recording you used. The copyright claim will identify the specific recording which it is claimed you are using. If you are sure the recording you are using really is different, and you really do have permission to use it, then you can dispute the claim. Choose Select Action, then Dispute. You then get this screen which is really stating the bleeding obvious about what are not valid reasons to dispute a copyright claim. Assuming you are not a pillock, you just check the tick box and continue. You are then presented with one of 4 choices for your dispute. The most likely reason you will give is license. That is, you have permission to use the content either because you paid the requisite fee, or it is Creative Commons and you have complied with all the conditions associated with the license, such as giving attribution. You then move on to a screen which basically asks you to confirm you have permission. Tick the box and continue. And finally, you get the following. In our case, we added comments to confirm the composition, noted the performance had been misidentified, and referred to the performance actually used and its license terms. Then tick the 3 boxes, enter your name, and submit. It's as simple as that. The dispute will then go to the claimant, giving them 30 days to either reject or accept your dispute. In theory, they can accept your dispute and release the claim before the 30 days. Our experience is they do nothing, so you have to wait the 30 days whilst they do nothing, at which point the claim is dropped. This is one of the reasons why episode 4 of Endangered was released so long after episodes 1 to 3. So there you are. It's as simple as that. Irritating when it happens, a bit tedious to fill out the forms, and not for someone who suffers from a lack of patience. And now, if you've not already done so, watch Hook Wits Endangered, including those episodes which have been needlessly delayed pending the expiration of disputed copyright claims. Thank you.